What's up, ultra happy people? I am your host, ultra runner and coach, Tania, and your magnificent co-host, Andy, is back.
Woo!
Yay! For everyone that missed you in the previous episode. Well, it was a bonus episode, but yeah.
Bonus episode, love it. I feel like we're proper professionals.
Bonus. We got you that one for free, y'all. So how's everyone doing? How's the weekend? We have a very good episode today, full of interesting facts by Andy, of course, as always. Today we're going to finish our Jordan ride, sadly. Last episode of recapping the 250 kilometer journey through Jordan and our incredible trip after that race to Alula, a little recovery retreat I did for myself. A little recap as well for my 12-hour fun run I did over the weekend. And hopefully we have time this time to cover a little bit of Antarctica, because I feel like we're running out of time, people. We have 3 weeks till Antarctica. So this is, yeah, we have 3 more episodes.
I'm not going to Antarctica. I have 3 weeks while you're away. Peace and quiet.
Yay! So let's start with the first, as always, your facts by Andy.
Facts by Andy. Hold on. I'm not ready. Let me get the glasses.
Oh my God. All man's problem.
I know.
First.
I know.
Be ready.
Well, this week's facts by Andy, if you have seen the last episode and a few more, these kind of back up some of the things we've been talking about.
Are you going and looking for like facts by Andy that are like backing up all I said, just to make sure I'm not talking?
Absolutely not. What they're doing is these are here to challenge you.
Okay.
So this week, right, I love it. The differences between men and women.
Oh, I love that.
And I've added ... It's science.
I love that. I love that. That's like one of my most interesting topics. So I'm interested. All right.
Okay.
Got my attention.
So when preparing for long distance trail or ultra runs, there are several key considerations that differ between men and women. Number one, body composition and fueling.
Yes.
So as we discussed before, women typically have a higher body fat percentage, which can provide an advantage for energy stores during ultra races, but requires tailored fueling strategies. While men may rely more on carbohydrate loading, therefore women often benefit from a balanced intake that includes fat as an energy source to support their endurance over long distances, and men need to simply just stack up on carbs before long distances. At around 65% of VO2 max, women get roughly 39% of their energy from fat, while men get around 22%.
That's a lot.
So that's a lot, isn't it?
Almost the double. This is 39. I mean, 40 and 20.
I mean, your maths is terrible, but yeah, I mean, it is quite a lot.
I'm rounding it up.
It's weird.
It's runner's math,
runner's
remember?
math, I know,
just rounding it up.
But it just shows you that when we were talking about the fat consumption that women use for energy, how big a difference it is. You know, it's massive. And actually, that's what Alex was talking about a little bit in our video as well.
Yeah. In the last episode, she is a sports nutritionist dedicated for endurance sports in particular. So we were obviously diving into the women differences and all that. So yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
But I think it also just shows you that how men and women are different and how their preparation for races should be different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because men just literally need to get on the carbs and just bulk up beforehand on them. Whereas women need to get a balance between
the other thing that I was talking with Alex about, if you haven't seen the episode, check it out. But I was talking about that the difference is that we are so behind. It's already a new sport, new in like, you know, a couple of, like not a couple, but how many years? Like it's not ultra running is not a sport like ancient times, you know, it's like pretty like, and it's got a lot of popularity in recent years, but there is not a lot of research made in women. And she was explaining that a lot of research was made in men, you know, for, let's say, for these gels and all those performance foods are made for men, or because studies were made in men because they didn't want the women hormones to be inside the mix, because they will, screw up their findings.
Yeah.
So that's why we're so behind in the women's kind of, chat in ultra endurance, I guess.
But then that's quite interesting you saying that, because if you think about it, what you would take out there in terms of fueling and stuff like that, it's just something that's sold for athletes. It's not something that's sold for men or women. And actually, when you start to understand a little bit more about the body composition there, that women are reliant more on fat and men are reliant more on carbs.
I'll tell you what,
That's an
if you
imbalance right
are
there,
a company doing this kind of like the gels and
start
stuff,
looking at a women's
start
one.
getting
Yeah,
into
yeah, yeah.
like a gel made for women endurance. How, like that, don't steal it. That's my idea.
Oh, no, we'll take it out. Take it back.
Oh my God, that's my $1 million idea.
I know. Right, okay. Next one is hydration and electrolyte balance.
Oh yeah.
So, due to hormonal fluctuations, women can experience changes in sweat rates and electrolyte needs. Hydration strategies for women may require more nuanced adjustments around their menstrual cycle. I thought that was a bit... I was totally surprised by that. To ensure balanced hydration and avoid cramps or dehydration. So hydration and electrolyte intake should be upped during the cycle if running long distances. And men, well, we don't really have anything like that.
And men, well, they don't
But the
play.
interesting thing I thought is how many women out there realise that if they are going to do an ultra run during their menstrual cycle, actually what they do is they need to up their electrolytes. And it's actually not about drinking more water. It's about the electrolytes and salt. And I bet you that a lot of women out there will probably just pack what they normally pack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas if they are on their cycle,
The
it's
truth
something
is,
they need
like,
to do.
when you schedule a race, you have to have a calendar, right?
Yeah.
I have it, because then I don't know where I'm going to be. And in this, actually, speaking of, on the 12-hour race, I woke up and I had that little surprise. Surprise.
That was tears and everything.
I was like, no, why me today? So yeah, I felt, obviously you feel, apart from all the feels of feeling a little bit more weak, you feel way more hot, like hotter than usual, just because your temperature rises, just because of, that's how it, the hormones. I didn't think about the hydration, but I hydrated pretty well anyways. But yeah.
But specifically electrolytes
During those
and salt.
days. Yeah. Well,
New to
I will
me.
do that next
Okay,
time.
this kind of is along the same lines, but thermoregulation differences in hydration. So research suggests that men and women respond differently to heat during endurance events.
Yep.
Women generally have a highest surface area to mass ratio, which can help with the getting rid of heat in their body. However, they may sweat less and rely more on cooling mechanisms like increased blood flow to the skin. Men, on the other hand, typically sweat more and experience faster cooling through evaporation. This means women may need to be more mindful of hydration strategies tailored to cooler environments or periods of lower sweating.
What? I thought it would be the opposite.
No, it's because women have that higher body
It's
temperature
because
in
I
general.
sweat so much. And again, that is just a general, obviously, study. The reality is, like Alex was saying, again, going back to the previous episode, it's very important that you know your sweat rate. Everyone's different, right? And that's just a statistic. Maybe statistically, men sweat more. But in particular, myself, I sweat a lot. Like, I can just be walking up the stairs and I'm starting to sweat already. So it's very important to know your sweat rate and also how many salt you're losing. Like, that is the study you have to make, like the sweat rate against the salts.
Yep. Although I've not written it down here, and I know because I had done my man test and I checked it out, that actually you are...
My man test.
I know. What do you call it? My mum used to call it my mum used to say to me, you get that man MOT done.
MOT. All right.
But yeah. But actually, I don't think a lot of people are aware that your sweating is linked to blood pressure. So actually and we have one in the house and we check ours I check mine fairly regularly. But what you should be doing is you should be checking your blood pressure to ensure that your blood pressure is within the right range. The better thing is that the lower side of the right range stops you from sweating as much.
Maybe
Whereas
that's
the
why
higher
I
end
sweat
of the
more.
right range and over the top there makes you sweat more. So it's maybe worth people that actually do excessively sweat. It's worth checking that out.
I sweat a lot.
You do sweat a lot. You sweat in bed, just sleeping,
Just like,
just in case anybody gets
yeah, I
any
was
ideas.
like, just wake up in a puddle.
I know, for no reason.
Yeah.
Okay, next one is hormonal effects on recovery and muscle repair.
Oh, interesting. Now that we
Yeah, I
are
like
kind of
that.
like
I
in
like-
recovery, you get good points today.
Yeah, I like this. These are science.
These are science-based.
Science backed. So studies have shown
Science by
that-
Andy.
Science by Andy. No, it's not that, definitely. Studies have shown that estrogen prevalent in women has an anti-inflammatory effect and can aid muscle repair after endurance exercise. This can give women a slight advantage in
was gonna
recovery from
say.
ultra events, as estrogen helps reduce muscle damage and soreness. However, hormonal fluctuations can still affect performance, so planning around these cycles is often beneficial for female athletes. There you go. And actually, even just reading about it, there was so much that when I was reading in general, there's so much about the hormonal side of it and the recovery side of it. That
Are you reading that now because I'm like wild with
you're
my...
driving me insane sometimes. I'm trying to
Something is wrong
understand why
with
you're
you.
mental. But I thought that it was quite interesting that a lot of it is based around the cycle, your age, and
Yes.
you know what I mean, things like that.
I think like I was explaining the other day to you, also is very personal. There is people or women that would be very affected by their cycles. Like they will go through like crashes and feeling moody. And I mean, I know you give me a hard time, but I really have a pretty steady, like I don't even notice when I'm going to be in my period or when it's coming, or I don't, my humor or my energy levels kind of are the same all throughout. But there's women that I know they are quite
But also,
sensible.
Also, I think it's worth mentioning a lot of people might know this and might be a bit shocked to hear this, females in particular, especially if they're just about to start doing these endurance sports.
Yeah.
Is sometimes if you go through a really stressful period and running, then what happens is your
It moves
cycle
around.
might even stop. It'll be for a day or two and then go.
Oh,
Do you know
look
what I
at
mean?
you.
No,
How do you learn all
Because we
this?
talk about it, I know, and I read about it. But I think that would be a bit of a shock to some people out there that
It's
don't know that.
absolutely normal. It moves around. But now because I'm in this challenge, obviously, and all the races I've done these in 8 months, my periods obviously has like no head and no tail. Like it's all over the place. So I didn't know that this weekend was gonna. It was in my calendar for this weekend, but I wasn't sure it was going to happen because again, it's been delayed and it's all over the place. But happy to say that it's back to normal, even normal day and everything. So yeah. So, but just exactly, definitely, it's good to know that. And then also, if you're starting to train, maybe check out if you are sensible to these kind of changes. Plan your training around it, definitely.
Okay, and I thought I would finish on this as I seen this and I thought it was a fun way to end on these facts today. So, the difference between men and women in long distance running and ultra marathons is like men are like sports cars, like Ferraris, powerful but fuel thirsty, and women to fuel efficient vehicles like a Prius.
Beautiful Prius.
However, men might start with explosive speed.
Yeah.
But over extreme distances, their faster metabolism and reliance on quick energy sources can cause them to run out of fuel sooner.
And then they die.
Women, on the other hand, excel at conserving energy, partly thanks to their better fat utilisation, which can help them stay strong and steady over ultra long races. This often means women close a performance gap or even outperform men at further distances, even if men dominate in shorter sprints and marathons. So, see if anybody calls you a Prius, it's a good thing.
You're durable.
There you go. It's a
durable.
good thing. Who thought that? Who thought you would ever say that? But there you go.
That's good, exactly. And I think we said that a couple of times in other episodes that the gap just gets shorter and shorter the longer the distance. And being fat adapted is one of the reasons that we're really good endurance. So women that are out there like questioning if they will be okay, or they're wondering if they should try to go into ultra running or endurance sports, we are made for this. Like literally, we are genetically made for endurance sports. So
Yeah.
give it a shot because we're made for this.
And I especially, you know, after the facts that I've had in the past few weeks, for me, they've been really interesting because it's not things that I would normally have delved into. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But actually, I thought some of them were really interesting. And we both actually never knew about the fat utilization and even the previous ones about, you know, about the hips shock absorbing and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So I actually, do you know, see, at the
Hope
beginning-
everyone's learning a little bit
at the
about
beginning of the
your
week, I'm like, right, okay, what are the facts this week?
Facts by Andy. Facts by Andy. Everyone's enjoying your Facts by Andy. Love it. So very interesting facts, and let's dig into our last day in the desert. My last 10 kilometers of the 250 kilometer journey through Jordan. So a little bit of a recap. Obviously, as you know, went already and crossed 240 kilometers. The last day was the long stage, which it was 90 kilometers of pure pain. And yeah, that was an uncomfortableness. I made it there to the camp and the next morning of when I started. So I clocked around 26 hours, I think. This is the longest I've been out there in the course of any desert. So I sort of rested that day. You have that day kind of off. It's not really off because there's people still finishing. There's people finishing until 3 p.m. in the afternoon, I think. So, you know, everyone's kind of like there resting and recovering. So I slept most of the day and just kind of like sleeping on and off. It's beautiful because it's like you're in your tent. It's a little bit like a light wind and everyone's just enjoying themselves. And if you want to go to bed, you just go crawl into your tent and have it with snooze. So I kind of like had a snooze on and off. And that was pretty much the day out. And the next day we were getting ready for just a quick 10 kilometer, which it was 8 kilometers, to be honest. So I didn't run 250 kilometers in Jordan.
See on that night before when everybody's finished a long march and you've kind of had that time off and stuff like that. What's the mood in the camp? Or do people consider it's finished at that point?
It's finished.
Yeah.
It's finished. Like that's the atmosphere is like much more like happier and considering because the previous nights or the previous days in the camp are quite tense and more so the one way before, like when you're going to start the long march, everyone's a little bit, you know, like iffy and still a little bit like nervous and you can feel it.
So it's a bit like a release of pressure almost.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like you're done and you only have left 8 or 10 kilometers to the finish line until you can see pizza and sodas and ice and anyone would crawl that.
What does the camp look like? Is it like just all set up, ready to go? You've got a great view. You've got views of the mountains.
Yes,
and all that. So it's
this
like
one
a
was
final
beautiful.
good last view.
Because if you remember, we climbed for 20 plus hours, so we were pretty high in a mountain. It was pretty rocky the surface when we were getting there. So because we're already almost in the archaeological site of Petra, which is where we finished. So the ground was very rocky, it was pretty painful to walk around because you take off your shoes, clearly. You know, you don't want to be with those shoes anymore.
Especially yours.
And it was really painful because you're carrying a really thin pair of slippers because, again, you cannot carry your plushy slippers. You don't want to be carrying that. So I have like my chippy ones, everyone. And obviously the sole of those slippers are very thin and you can feel every rock, everything. So walking around camp wasn't the most comfortable. So even to go and get water or go and get your dinner was like, it's a trip. Like you need to like, ow, you know, and like kind of like find your food wherever it's not rocky. And yeah, it was pretty painful at that point.
How dare that mountain? You think they would have a flat surface for
I know,
guys?
right? I mean, seriously, please. But yeah, next day you wake up, you put your backpack, which is almost empty and weightless after you went through all your foods. And you're just carrying pretty much your mandatory equipment of like the sleeping bag. I would say it's around 3-4 kilos, which is like pretty light. And then we went down the mountain. It was actually tarmac because we're going into the archaeological site from the Petra, from the Petra town.
Oh, right.
So
okay, yeah,
you're already in the streets of the town of Petra. So obviously there's no more sand. It's just tarmac, but it was a pretty steep downhill, and everyone's like legs were dead by then. So running downhill was pretty painful.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I found recently that's just as bad as running uphill.
It is very bad. And the hip flexors were absolutely dead. Everyone was just like screaming coming down. And it's actually even more painful to walk down. So you rather give it a wee trot.
Yeah,
just
get out
to,
of the
you know,
way.
with just the gravity kind of help. Like you don't want to go against gravity. So you need to just kind of like go. But that was pretty painful. But yes, everyone's cheering. Everyone's laughing. You just got like a short 8K. How it usually works in the last day for this organization is that the people that are walkers, the ones that are really at the end of the pack, go at the beginning. So they go like half an hour before everyone else, just because, or if you're injured or, you know, whatever, if you're going really slow, if you cannot run anymore, you will go in the first wave, and then we go after them after half an hour. So you see a bunch of runners coming down the hill, going into the archaeological site of Petra. And just if you had the opportunity to be to Petra, it's exactly just the entrance of the site, pretty much. So it's like you go through the beautiful like small canyon to go through it's like a totally Indiana Jones vibe.
Yeah.
There's people there was like some runners.
It's one of the most iconic
singing.
sites in the world. I mean, I think that everybody's either seen it on TV
exactly.
or a picture or something.
But that's how we got into from that site, because there's several sites, but we went from that front side, and there were some runners and I just singing Indiana Jones as we were like cruising down the canyon, and until we arrived to the beautiful treasury. It's absolutely like the best place to finish. What a finish. So there is this canyon, and then suddenly it starts opening up as you get close, and then you see that beautiful monument in front of you, and then there's obviously all the people from the race cheering and giving you your medal. And I just feel bad for all the tourists that were trying to enjoy the peace of that beautiful site, and here they are, a bunch of stinky runners running down full pedal down the site. I felt really bad for them.
I was actually thinking about this when you were doing the race. I mean, you and I were blessed enough to have been in Jordan before and seen it all. But anybody who, for the first time running down there,
I could imagine,
and running through that canyon, and then the treasury opening up like that would be absolutely
that would
amazing.
Have been absolutely yes. So if you haven't
that'd be a
been,
memory that they'll never forget.
I was gonna say, if you haven't been, that would be. I mean, I would travel anywhere just to run in these beautiful places, but this is a place that I would definitely recommend to try, to go and finish a race in Petra. Absolutely,
and
mind blowing.
Another question for you is: obviously we've had the problem with the shoes.
Yeah.
But did all your other gear, was it okay?
Everything was fine.
Everything great?
Yeah. Great,
all come back in
great.
one piece, did it?
Food was good as well. Everything was just great. Yeah, same old. Oh, apart from my leggings, of course, as always, I break them through in my thighs. My thunder thighs.
What is it called? I was going to say fat thighs there. I've got a kick for that. But
no,
that's what I'm saying.
Fat. They are thunder.
Thighs,
they are my
thighs,
powerful thighs. They are too big
thunder
to handle. They're too powerful to be.
Oh, they're powerful.
Yeah. So yeah, they can't be contained anymore, and they
actually funny story.
They usually explode.
Tania, when she comes back from these races, always is checking her body out. So she's checking her thighs out. This is the other day we're on the couch. She's checking her thighs out. She's like, "Oh, look at the size of my thighs. Let me see yours."
Oh,
and then she compared them and she's like that. Oh, look at your wee legs. And I'm like, oh, you're just doing that to make yourself feel good.
He has tiny wee legs.
I don't have tiny wee legs.
He's working on it.
They're getting better.
I'll give that to you.
I would hold them up, but they won't look good.
Don't show them. Yeah. But at the end, there was pizza this time.
Oh.
Well, as always. It was good. They had sodas as well. So, oh my God. Sodas. So, Coke,
I thought you said
Sprite.
sawdust. I was like, what?
Coke, Sprite, Fantas. Oh my
Wow.
God. Can you imagine like 6 days of eating pure crap and you're received with pizza? I was like, forget about the treasury words of
Which is
pizza.
still not great, but
I don't care about the treasury. Where is the food? And a Coke, a Sprite. I miss so much a Sprite. I don't know. I have that taste for that Sprite. So it's wonderful when you are deprived 6 days of that, and literally you're deprived because you haven't seen it, smell it, nothing. It's nothing. Like, you cannot get it like, anywhere. And to finally have it there is just, it's funny. It's a funny feeling.
it's funny. This is actually a bit on topic, off topic. Right?
Okay.
But it's funny you saying that because you guys don't know this, but a while ago when I got my man MOT test, I was told my cholesterol was high. So I've completely changed my diet, haven't I? I don't drink any sodas. I am pretty much on a full healthy diet at the moment, which I'm really enjoying, surprisingly. But funnily enough, at the weekend there when we went running, I haven't had like I used to drink Diet Coke quite a lot. No, Diet Pepsi. Big plug for Pepsi. But I used to drink a fair amount of that. And on Saturday was the first one that I had for like maybe 5 weeks. I've been doing this for 5 weeks, 6 weeks. And when I drank it, it was almost like a jolt to my body. And it's a diet soda.
Yeah.
A jolt to my body, like, oh my God.
Like your
That is
brain
amazing.
just like,
it's like
what?
it's so refreshing. It's like, see, when you drink it, it's got like that tingling on your tongue, and you think that you're being refreshed. And actually, I had to shut myself down a wee bit because I was thinking to myself,
Don't get used to it again.
Don't get used to it because it's that enjoyable. And I was thinking, that is the bloody power of these companies.
I know.
Do you know what I mean? That what they do is it's like you with the medicinal Coke. When you're running,
Coke.
right? When you're
Coke
running,
is good.
you
Coke is
just
life.
pray from checkpoint to checkpoint. Somebody will give you a medicinal
Yeah.
Coke. Do you know what I mean? Because they actually have that much power when you drink them. It's incredible.
So that's the only thing. That's why I ran an extra 9 kilometers.
So you could get a soda.
Just so I can
you
get a
Sprite.
soda. And I got a Sprite. I didn't get a Coke this time. I was Sprite. And you can only have one. So
You told me
Very
another
sad.
thing, right? While we're on it,
yeah.
on topic, off topic, that some runners put salt in their
I was
Coke.
looking at that today. I mean, over the weekend. We'll talk on it, but I don't know. I'll have to try that. I just seen it. I have never tried it. I've never seen it before. I've seen beer and Coke, but I've never seen salt and Coke before. So
anybody out there that does that, DM us and tell us the reason for it.
and it's because of salt,
obviously because they're getting
obviously,
salt in, right?
but
why not take a salt tablet?
I know. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure. But after that beautiful Sprite that brought me back to life, like you were saying, that exactly feeling, but just beautiful.
Weird.
So we were back to the hotel, quick change because we have the banquet. And as you know, the banquet is like a big party. Everyone dresses up. We have a shower. So we all look and smell lovely. It's like a different people. Like
I can just
never
imagine people at Tania.
Yeah,
Is that
all
you?
the time. Not to me, but there is the people that change a lot for sure. You're like, who are you? Like,
You've just
what
been
is
running
this?
with me for 4 days.
Yeah, you never, So it's funny just to see them like with normal clothes, and so it was great. And we had a big buffet, and we even got wine. I didn't drink, but there was wine for the party this time, and I think at that point I was just knackered, to be honest, like both like socially, mentally, physically, everything. Like I said, at the end of each race is not only that I am tired physically, but yeah, mentally. So like,
Well, when I spoke to you
everything.
that night, immediately after the race, you actually said to me that you were going to the banquet and stuff like that. You got a new dress, remember?
Oh yeah.
So I'm excited.
I was very excited.
I'm excited to wear my new dress. However, I can't wait to just pack up, come and meet you in Saudi
just,
Arabia
like,
and go
be
to Alula.
quiet.
And I knew in my heart at that point it wasn't to meet me. It was just so you could rest for a while.
Yeah, I just wanted to like be quiet. Like I know I spend a lot of time alone in the desert because clearly I'm by myself most of the time, but it's never quiet in my brain because I am hooked into, there are so many things you need to, you're in survival mode. Your brain is very loud, like everything, all your alarms are on.
And I think especially this one.
Yeah, and everything was just, you're battling for survival. Like you're always thinking food, hydration, how much water do you have? Oh, we have a little bit of water. You can't drink anymore because the next checkpoint is in another 40 minutes. And, cool down. Everything is like my mind or everyone's mind, I would think, it's very loud. So I couldn't wait just to unplug, just lay down and just don't think. I think that's what I was very excited for. So I was very excited because I usually plan we get away or something after a race, just because that gives me like a little extra motivation to finish, to be honest. In this one, we plan to go to Jeddah and Alula, and just the thought, and in this beautiful hotel in Alula. And to be honest, that I've seen the pictures, obviously, of the hotel that we were going. It's absolutely stunning. And just that picture, like that image in my head, you have no idea how many times that pulled me out of a very dark hole where I was like, I'm not going to finish this, or this is too hard, like F this, what's the point? But then I was like, you cannot just quit right now. One, because the Grand Slam would be over. But there are some points that sometimes even your brain starts tricking you and saying, oh, who cares? No one cares about the Grand Slam. So I was like, no, but you know what? I don't want to get to, I want to earn my holiday. I want to earn to be in that place. Imagine being in that place with a feeling of satisfaction that you finished and you did great. Or say, no, I don't want to be in this beautiful place that I booked feeling sorry or feeling, sad that I didn't finish. So that idea pulled me out many, many, many times from the dark place I was having or the rough times. So it's a great advice. And I usually do it, like maybe not planned, but that's how it usually plans. After a race, we have some sort of like holiday because we squeeze the travels and stuff between obviously the races. So there's always something that I'm looking forward to. So yeah, even if it doesn't need to be a expensive trip, but it can be just like, I don't know, just something a day out or a spa day or just something like that. I think those kind of trick minds or, something that you're looking forward, that that is waiting for you at the end of that big effort. I think that helps a lot in the mind when you are struggling.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I think when you've got those moments, because no matter what happens, even if you're the greatest racer in the world, you still have low moments in races.
Oh yeah,
like that,
absolutely,
do you know what I mean?
always.
So it's a good idea, I think, always to have something to look forward to.
Like in Gobi, for example, which was a great race for me, I didn't have very low moments, but I would still, you will still have something to look forward. Like I was looking forward to, I think, meeting my parents after, because we were traveling with them after, or they were coming. So, I want to, something to look forward to. And after 2 days in Jeddah, we went Jeddah, by the way, was absolutely beautiful. Yeah. What a stunning place. I made it there, half did, but I met Andy there, and then we started a wee holiday.
I've got to say, see, the Saudi people are incredible, aren't they?
It's just
so
people.
Nice, so helpful, just really, really good, really good.
And Jeddah was beautiful. Like I said, yeah, the people were nice. The place itself was clean as any Muslim country, I think, very peaceful, and the people were kind. And yeah, in this particular place is not as, for example, here in Dubai, it's a little bit more conservative in the conservative side. So we did need it to be covered. I needed to, not you. I needed to be covered. So it was something to, if you ever travel in this side of the world, just check that what kind of is the code, the dressing code. Dubai, it's absolutely fine. You will be fine walking around however you want. But in particular, Jeddah is pretty conservative.
And something I never thought, the 30-year-old, even 40-year-old Andy, I never thought I would ever hear myself say this.
Oh, God.
But drinking alcohol there is illegal.
Oh yeah.
And actually, I enjoyed not.
Did you miss it?
No, because do you know the thing is, with not being there, right? There's no temptation to take it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
If
mean?
you don't
Which is
see it,
fine.
you don't really.
Although, do you remember when we were in Alula?
Oh, hold on, we'll say that.
You're going to mention it, are you?
But I don't drink anyways. Like I'm
Now
not.
and again, I mean, like,
Not
it's
really.
like you maybe have a beer now and again or whatever.
When was the last time I had a beer?
Well, Lisa,
Which was,
about 7 weeks ago.
yeah, more than 2 months.
Oh, it's more than
So
a-
it's not was one. No, it's not one in a while. It's like once in like I don't drink really. Okay, one beer every 6 months. That's once in a while.
Yeah, but that's
Even more
okay, that's
so
better
in
cutting
these
it.
times. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Maybe before, now I definitely can't because we are recovering, like I said, and many of the nutritionists, also Alex, by the way, mentioned that not only because it's not great for your body and all that jazz, but it's also not good for. I'm looking for anti-inflammatory foods right now to recover my tissue damage, and alcohol actually kind of goes against it. So right now, because I'm battling with that, that would be like a no for me at the moment. But yes, going back to Jeddah was no alcohol, no nothing. So do you miss it? Nah.
I think that, I mean, I don't really drink much anymore either. Do you know what I mean? I think
Once
that
in
for
a
me-
while.
Well, for me, it's just, if I want to, I will do, but I don't. I'm just not really. It's not
Now, since you had your
cholesterol thing.
your MOT
Yeah.
coming back with
Yeah, cholesterol and stuff. Yeah, it's just
I
kind
think
of
since
stopped.
then you've been better.
Even that, like before that, even
just when my parents are not here. When my dad is here,
yeah, when
Andy,
when
we
our dad
lose
and I
him.
get together, yeah, we're both.
We lost him.
Yeah.
We lost both of them.
Yeah.
So after 2 days in Jeddah, I needed to travel there just because there's no direct flights anyway. So we just kind of decided to spend like 1 or 2 days in Jeddah with that beautiful place as well. But we definitely need to be back. And then we went to Alula, which that is a place that I've been dreaming about going for months by then. And we stayed in a place called Habitat Alula. And what a place. It's just in the middle of the desert, in the middle of nowhere. And it has like these healing, chilled, boho vibe. And it's like a retreat. They have like yoga, sound baths, outdoor cinema. Like it's all so quiet.
It is a bit surreal, some of it.
You know, it's like
I
you're
mean,
in a different world.
No disrespect, right?
Oh, God.
But you are Instagram happy.
I love that.
So you're all about.
It's very
you need to-
Instagrammable,
You need
yes.
to pick. Oh, I want to get a picture there, here, there. Whereas I don't really care, right? But actually, there you couldn't help it. I mean,
it's very Instagrammable, yeah.
Everything you turn around, everything you sit around the rocks. It seems quite
Everything.
alien to you in terms of an environment and all that as well. You can't help it. Do you know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like it's really, really.
And also,
cool.
I kind of wanted to. The rooms are like little villas in on top of desert, on top of like sand, and everything is sand. And then you kind of like go around each villa and go to the restaurant with like
More little e-bikes.
an e-bike, which I was like super scared of.
Felt like bloody evil Knievel.
Evil, I'm scared of them.
I love
So it was like super surreal, like Andy was saying, and I kind of loved it because I could share a little bit of like kind of what we go through in the deserts, especially in Jordan, because it's very Jordan-like. And I was able to share with you a little bit obviously in a very luxurious way, but that's sort of what we go through, like just going to those and seeing those rock formations. And at night, you were like in awe about the night. The sky is
Yeah.
absolutely something unreal.
I can be a bit of a geek with all that stuff, can't I? And even though I've done a lot of travelling, as you know, back in the day, I never have been somewhere that's so dark that you can look up and literally see the Milky Way. And I just, even when we went to the outdoor cinema, I think I looked at the stars more than I looked at the cinema.
Yeah,
So
it's
it was
absolutely.
amazing, yeah.
And I love that I could share that because obviously that's sort of what we see in the races in the deserts. Pretty much all the races I've done, you're in the middle of nowhere when you're going through these magical places, and when the night comes, that's why I say that I love running in the night as well. Because imagine running under those stars. So I was able to kind of like share with you a little bit of the experience. Like I said, maybe in a very luxurious way, but you got a little bit of a taste of what it's like. And after that, we went to Jeddah and Alula, which is like another type of stay. Yeah. So same thing. It's a different experience. It's like cool. Literally caravans in the middle of the desert. Again, super nice, super comfortable, and it was our first time staying in like those kind of caravans, that camping life kind of thing. And I think it was so nice. I didn't do literally anything for those like a week, I think. I didn't move a thing. I just really disconnected, enjoy, and take tons of pictures. And which I haven't even put up, by the way.
Yeah, I know, because we actually took our camera with us as well when we took loads on that. We've not
by itself, the town, by the way, it has tons of things to do as well. Like, it was so difficult to get out of the complex or the hotel place because it was so comfy, but we needed to go and explore, obviously. And there's beautiful sites. It has like the Elephant Rock, and the other sites that are that you need to go and visit. Hegra and the box, the mirror box, Miraja.
We done Hegra by night, remember? On the bicycles.
On the bike. Oh my God, my legs were burning. I was like, I don't think I can move. Why am I doing this? It was like a little bit of an uphill. I was like, no, I'm dying. I was pure sweating. See, sweat rate. I just do a tiny bit, and I'm sweating like buckets.
Tania, being Tania, is this e-bike isn't working. This is a bit rubbish and all that. And I'm saying you need to use the gears properly. So she stops and she says to the guy, "This e-bike isn't working properly." Pushes the wee button. And the wee
So can you imagine? I was doing all by pure effort. I was like, why is everyone going so fast? These people have like legs of steel, man. I can't. Or maybe I'm like too tired. I was just in the wrong bike. So it was a great week out there. I really fully recommend visiting over there. And we come back healed a little bit and ready, because we had literally 7 weeks till Antarctica. Now we have 3. But I got back pretty healed, more than healed, with 10 pounds, 5 kilos over my belt now. Great. And I still don't know if it was maybe a lot of pizza involved in those days, or I was just still pretty inflamed, and maybe water retention and all that from the race. But we're still focusing in healing the body, eating good foods like Andy was saying, and just kind of like stopping the alcohol, which we don't drink much, but definitely is a no-no right now. Eating a lot of good foods. Like if you heard again the previous episode, I'm trying to focus in that. A lot of protein, lean meats, a lot of veggies, and eating my omega-3s and protein shakes, obviously, and with creatine as well, just to kind of like repair.
And a cabinet full of supplements.
And a cabinet, yeah. I never thought I would be that person, but here we are. And and we are in the way to Antarctica. Although I did had a great idea to put in there a 12-hour run in between, just because I thought it would be fun. Now, just the group that the running group, the trail group of runners that I usually go out with, they are organizers, and they did this race. They do several races here in the UAE, but they were having this race, and I couldn't do other ones because they were all, when I'm away. So this one was sort of like in between the block. So I was like, maybe I could make it. It's a 12-hour race, and which it was last weekend. And I really accepted in going, just because I also missed not thinking, like just really enjoying a run, or just enjoying a day out, like enjoying rather than surviving a day out. That I feel like I haven't done that in ages, since Govi, which was my last fun run or fun really time I had out there, because Jordan was definitely not fun. So I just really wanted to unplug, go with the flow. Each loop, so it was 12 hours in loops of 7-ish kilometers, which, you know, you have the opportunity to come back after a couple of hours to the start. And there were plenty of water stops, ice, Coke, food. I have the greatest crew in there,
And that's me.
obviously. Paradise, seriously. I was
Coming
like,
back to pizza.
this is
chips.
amazing. Like, I can do this
Yeah.
all day, man.
So
all
does.
day. I miss that. I miss that, like, just the relaxing and enjoying the day. I didn't have to carry a pack.
Yeah.
I didn't have to. I just literally needed to move 12 hours. So, I mean, I can do that. It was my first race in the UAE, by the way. So, and it was also a chance to see the community here, the ultra community here. And let me tell you, it's something else. I met, obviously I knew a couple of people because we ran together. And, but there was also many other that I didn't know. And I was just able to see the level of endurance that this place has on an athlete, and what level, like,
Yeah, it's really good, isn't it?
absolutely insane, like unreal. I've never seen that. No disrespect, but even in the UK, I don't think I've seen that level of madness. Like, there are some machines out there, and yeah.
But also, I think a big shout out to the guys, the organisers for that race and the volunteers, because I got chatting to quite a lot of them, and they were all amazing. And you know what? Every time that, for example, even when you came up, they were like, "Come on, Tanya," or "Come on, Mexico," or they knew, and they were always egging you on, which was great, you know.
Also, even the elites, I mean, the Omanis and the guy from Morocco. Yeah, that's the guy that won, I think. Absolutely. I think he did like 12 loops, 11 loops.
Yeah, you done 7, didn't you?
Who knows? He was just going, and the girl from Kenya. What a beast. Like, she was like in the top 10 competing with men.
Yeah.
And she was in there. And she was, I've seen her plenty of times because she kept passing me in the loops. And she was so, like, every time she would see me, she will hug me and, like, tell me, by the way, she's like, "Oh, I follow your adventures in your Instagram. By the way, thank you for everyone out there that said that follow me on Instagram." And they didn't know me, but they were like, "Oh, I follow you, now I know you," or have heard the podcast. I did receive a couple of people saying that they kind of knew me. So it was kind of, you know, I love that about also social media. I know you give me a lot of backlash about social media, but it's great because you can meet people before you meet them. So it was great because people would come to me, and I would feel like we know each other already from a long time, because we've been following each other, or they've been following me, and now I can follow them back. And it was a great community that I do. And like you said, volunteers, oh my God. And don't get me wrong, it was hard. Like, it was not, you know, I mean, easy maybe than running 250 kilometers, so self-supported, but it's still pretty hard. There was 250 meter climb in like a 2.5 kilometers. Like, in 2.5 you had to climb. A massive climb. And then the descents were pretty technical as well, in a narrow path, and there was a lot of people, so you always had to give away to people. So it was a little bit of like juggling there. And the heat, again, it was on the over 30s for sure, and like 80% humidity. So I can't do HIIT anymore. Seriously, I had all the ice in the world with Andy being the crew. Every lap I would have like ice poured, everything, but I still battling with the heat so much. Maybe now you said your facts by Andy about the heat. I don't know. Maybe that's why I can't stand. More electrolytes, definitely. And like I was mentioning, I got my period that morning, so it was not great. I got a couple of cramps as well, and you know,
more electrolytes.
But it was great with the community. So well organized, by the way. The guys from Peak Trail. Yeah, it's cool. peak. The organizers were absolutely amazing. And yeah, I had the best crew, even though he has a story to tell.
Well, for anybody who's been listening to this podcast for a while,
Andy has the stories.
They'll know my rants about Tania, about how sometimes she is overthinking, about how she underthinks, and about how she just wants to get something done. And this would be a perfect example of that. So on the last loop, or the second last loop, which we thought was was the last loop.
So it was like 4 hours before cutoff.
Tania had said to me at the checkpoint when I was crewing her, do you know what? I think I've got 2 in me. Okay, so you've got 2 in you. And the idea was always that maybe what I'd done is I'd done the last lap with her. But then in the beginning they said, I don't think you should do the last lap. It's really, really technical. I
was scared because of your ankle.
It's really bad. It's shackly, everything like that. And I was like, right, okay, that's fine. So on these laps that I'm talking about, Tania says to me, no, I've definitely got 2 in me. So then what happens is, halfway, because it takes you about 2 hours to do the lap because of it, I get a phone call an hour into it saying, this is my last lap.
I can't do it anymore.
I can't do it anymore. I said, all right, okay. I said, well, I tell you what, why don't I come and meet you because you're an hour into it? She's like, yeah, come and meet me. That would be great.
So in the middle of the course, you will climb up this mountain and you will reach the peak of the place. It's called Hatta. And it's a beautiful sign, like it's very Hollywood kind of style, with the big words of Hollywood. It's sort of the same idea. It has like the Hatta name on top of there. So it's beautiful.
So
very iconic.
This is quite a technical climb.
Very technical, yeah.
I mean, it's totally shackly. It's really steep. There's the odd stair here and there, but I could see runners sliding and falling all over the place. And I'm thinking to myself, I'll be okay. It's fine. I'll get up. Tania will be just round the corner. I'll probably do a wee bit, half of it. So we're probably about 3K at this point.
Yeah.
And then I'm starting to climb up, and then Tania comes down, and I can see her. I'm like, oh, hello. How are you feeling?
Shut up, keep moving.
She's like that. She said, I'm going to do another lap.
What?
And I'm like, hold on. Wait, what do you mean? She said, I've decided I could probably fit another lap in. And I'm like, right, okay.
He's in the middle of the mountain.
So I'm standing in the middle of the mountain. It's a very narrow track. Tania's trying to push by me to get down. And I'm like, but I don't know. She's like, why don't you just go up to the top and wait on me? And I looked up and I thought, oh, yeah, okay. Because you know what? It'll be well worth the experience.
Yeah.
So then what I do is I managed to clamber up. I'm talking to everybody on the way up there. Obviously, like, congratulations.
It's also, there was open for public. So there's also people that is not in the race. That is just normal hiking people. You see them as well. So
I get up to the top. I'm there. I got another call. Tania says, I've stopped at a checkpoint for a wee bit longer than expected. I'll probably be about an hour.
Just wait there.
Just wait there for me. So here's me sitting. By the way, so you get the vision, remember a few podcasts back I told you, all done up in my Nike trail gear?
There you go.
Full kitted out, Nike trail gear. I had my Nike trail gear vest on and everything. I had my water bottle, the whole shooting match. And I get up at the top.
All the gear, no idea.
And I'm talking to the guys up there, and actually we're having a cracking laugh.
Yeah, the volunteers.
So Tania gets to the top, and I can see in her face by this point she is knackered. And I thought to myself, payback time. Payback time. So we went down the hill, right? Both of us kind of getting down, slipping and sliding, getting down to the bottom.
Yeah.
And then there's about a 3.5 kilometre run to the finish line.
Pretty runnable. Like it's like tarmac already.
And she's like, I'm just going to walk it. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're going to run it because I want to get you in the 12 hours. You could be a wee bit more than 12 hours, but I want to get you in the 12 hours. And she's like, I don't know. I said, no, we're running. That's it. So then I start running and I said, remember, I'm your pacer. And she's like, no, pacers give love to people. And I said, no, they don't.
I'm not that kind of pacer.
I have watched the documentaries. I have seen it. Pacers get people over the line, make sure that they run when they need to. I'm going to get you there. And she's like, okay. So yes, I
was running and cursing for like half an hour.
She was shouting at me, but fair play to you. You ran those 3.5 miles and you got in before the 12 hours.
Yeah, I got in.
But see, at the end of it, I looked at her and she was knackered and I thought, I've done my job.
Payback time.
I've done my job.
It was so much fun. It was a good way to celebrate our anniversary, by the way.
10 years, eh?
I didn't remember because I was racing clearly and I forgot. But
you would remember anyway.
But we were running down and Andy suddenly screams, "Happy anniversary, by the way." And I was like, oh my God. I can't believe you're doing this in the anniversary. But yeah,
my present was to punish you for those 3.5 kilometers.
I was gonna say that was a good way for you to punish me for like the last 10 years of
and
pain.
And how you punished me was you said to me, I told you I would eventually get you trail running.
Oh yeah, I was like, who said? You see, guys, we're making it. I said, just give me a couple of. It will take me years because it's not that easy, but he is already running in trails.
And to be fair,
and he loved it. So
he's going to shout at me, but I actually quite enjoyed it.
I was going to say, well, you enjoyed it because you were like, when is the next one?
I was off, wasn't I? And I was like, come on, let's go, come on.
Speaking about that, a 12-hour loop, it's a format that I love. It's a great way for anyone that's interested in getting their foot into ultras or even trail running, like Andy. He didn't want to do it in this one, but it's a great. I would
definitely do I would definitely do one.
See, now that you've seen it, I think like you wanted to see how it worked. But it's a great way for anyone to kind of like put their foot in if you're a little bit scared of it or you don't want to be pressured about a distance or a cutoff or the time because you can get lost. It's just a loop. It's pretty straightforward. There's always people around. There's always food. So, you can really practice, or even if you want to practice your fueling strategy for a longer race, or if it's your first time, there's always people around. There's always food. There's always like someone handy, like ice, hydration. So it's really good to practice these kind of like loopy races. And instead of like your first race being a point to point where maybe a checkpoint is very far away. And obviously you run the risk of maybe getting a little bit lost if there's a self-navigation race, which usually the long distances are. And so it's definitely good. It's a great way to put the time in your feet and kind of like get a feel for the distance or for the time. How is your body going to react to, I don't know, a 6-hour effort, a 7-hour effort? And maybe with that under your belt, you'll be like, okay, I ran, 40 kilometers in this amount. Maybe I can do now a 50K, so it's just good to kind of like get your body feel
it's a way
in a very nice surrounding, controlled.
Of not putting too much pressure on yourself.
Yeah, it's not.
Because, I mean, even one of our friends that was doing it, he had said in the beginning of the day that I think I'm probably only... He signed up for the whole thing.
The whole 12.
But he said he was only 12. Going to do 2 and ended up doing 7.
Yeah, same. 6 or 7.
Ended up doing 7. And actually, I think that we did a before picture and after picture with him, didn't we? And actually, you could see how proud he was of doing that because he'd obviously exceeded his expectations, which were really
And it doesn't need to be fast. You just need to literally walk and just, like I said, just to know. It's a great way to kind of like get an idea how does it feel, even regardless of the distance that you get, or you can sign up, do 2, for example, and that will be you for the day, for example. It's absolutely fine. So it's 12 hours open and you can do as many or as little as you want. So it's great. It's great prep, but not great for my preparation for Antarctica because where I still don't know how it's gonna feel to run in minus 30 degrees. I have all the layers, I have the equipment, but again, I'm banking on my mental toolkit and the confidence that I have to solve the challenges because I still have no idea. The weather is a massive obviously issue in this race that I don't have a control of it clearly, and I just have to be ready for anything that may happen. I'm a bit terrified, but we tried a little bit of cold in the snow park here in Dubai, but again that was -4, which is not a great. It's a very mild cold, and I did realize that moving, I'm fine. But when you stop, you get cold right away.
Do you know much of what the route's like? Because obviously it changes. But it's not going to be like the previous races you've done where you're running like a point to point.
No, this one's like a loopy one. Exactly.
Aye, that's what I was going to say. So you're doing a loop of how much?
It depends how the weather and where part of the island we're going to be put in.
Yeah.
It depends on the weather where the boat can take us down, and then they mark a little loop and we just do loops. So yeah, I don't know. I think the only thing I have so far solved is that I don't have to stop, and that's it, because I'll get cold and die.
And do you know what distances you're doing each day yet?
No, they said that it's per time, so you need to clock a certain distance in certain time. If you
okay.
do the distance in less time, you can pack your things and go to the boat. But for what I was listening to, no one really finishes the distance until the last day. So you get your accumulative distance in the 6 days. So they put you out. I mean, you do have to clock probably same as any day out, maybe a little bit more, maybe 40, 50s every day. So you don't have such a long day in the 5th. But yeah, it will all depend in the weather. And this will be my 4th desert within 10 months. I've done 4 races, well, 3 until now, 4 by December, of 250 kilometers. And that is a lot for a body. And I have to learn to be patient and how to recover so far. I've learned how bodies can be so strong, but yet so delicate. The balance, when the balance is broken, it takes so much for your body to recover. And I'm not talking about physical, I'm talking about the nervous system, internally, we as women, hormonally. And it's great that we had that chat with Alex again from the previous podcast. You need to check out that bonus episode where she gives really great pointers in how to recover and we speak about supplements and much more little advices that she can give us for pre, during, and post fueling for training and for races. So don't miss that episode out. And
I think just to add to that, I think that one of the scariest things, and I guess from an insider looking inside, if that makes sense.
Yeah, from outsider.
Is seeing you not knowing what the problem is and being nervous of it and scared of it. Do you know what I mean? That was quite tough, because I think that if you don't, because there's not enough information out there on these things and what you're going through, you know what I mean, with the extra weight going on when you think it should be off, or the hormonal imbalances and stuff like that. There's not enough information, but then also there's not a lot of people doing it, which is probably why there's not a lot of information.
That's what Alex and I were saying. There's not a lot of, even for women, we're just starting to be studied in endurance, because before all the studies were made in men, and we're starting to do it in women. But again, how many women are doing? Maybe they are doing a couple of ultras a year. But now, so far, I've done 15 days of over 12 hours in 8 months. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe not a lot of women have done that. So we still probably don't know exactly how a body should react, if it's good, if it's bad, what should I do? I'm just trying to be patient with it and just to kind of like remember, maybe I don't look the way I kind of, but my objective is bigger than that at the moment. And I know it will be fine once we are out of this challenge. And, I just have to be patient, like I said.
I think it would be good for women out there in particular that are maybe have done these things and are about to do these things, that they now know
what to expect,
because maybe that's something good that this podcast will bring out, because that's something that even we tried to Google it and find out with you, and we couldn't find anything until we spoke to experts about it.
There's guys that did this race, obviously there's more men doing this kind of challenge than women, and but again, men are super different, and even though they experience loss of weight, maybe other women may experience that, but maybe other women don't. And like I said, I've been talking to a couple of even people that have done 200 milers, and they were sharing the same kind of issue that I'm having. So I'm definitely not alone out there. So we're still, I guess, learning. And in the meantime, we just have to be patient and just keep learning and just keep keep at it, keep doing whatever makes us happy. And definitely running makes me happy at the moment. And yeah, maybe not these kind of side effects of it, but yeah, it's part of the whole fun of it.
Well, I think the thing is, it's nothing that can't be or won't go back
It's
to
not
normal.
repaired. Yeah.
I mean, it'll go back to normal.
I know I'm doing
after all this.
everything right. That's all like we can do at the moment, like taking my supplements, to having chats with professionals like Alex, for example, getting in touch with those and following their advice. And that's what we're doing. That's what I can control. And that's what, we're putting the foot in. And yeah, I'll do my best. But yeah, definitely get that in your head if you're maybe planning to do some wild adventures, that you have to be patient to the kind of the side effects of it, and not only physically but mentally and hormonally and the nervous system as well and everything, because this is not only a physical sport as we now know. And yeah, but that was everything we had. Next week, I think we're going to have a little bit, definitely 100% Antarctica chat. I have so many things to share with you all of all the equipment I have ready. And I think I'm actually complete this time. So I can wait to share with you all that. And yeah, that's it. The last, because I think I'll see you 2 more episodes before I head out to Antarctica. So yeah, enjoy your weekend, guys. And remember to keep doing whatever makes you ultra happy.